Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, where I'm re-engaging with the Wounded Beast mission. Previously, I had one of the German battleships over here miss a whole lot of shots, and I had a British warship just run off into the sunset, and that made it impossible to complete the mission. So what I have done off camera is adjust the battleship a bit. Previously, she had 8 15-inch guns, now she has 12. She no longer has her 4-inch armament that I had previously, and I stripped off the torpedo tubes, because the torpedo tubes were just not very effective, because I didn't fight at that range. I had to reduce the speed a bit and increase the displacement to make sure that I could fit those guns, and also that I now have room for super heavy shells with an increased ammo count. This does raise my ammo detonation chance, and that's not really being helped by the fact that I had to reduce the Citadel from an all-or-nothing armor scheme to a turtleback armor scheme, because I had to save a bit on cash and weight. Right now I only have 1 ton left on weight, and I have about 400k left on funding, but I don't really think I can play around with this anymore. Secondary armament has been upgraded and is now 8-inch, double barrel, per side 6 guns. These fire out to a range of 14, although I can probably more expect to hit stuff at about 10 clicks. Survivability has also been reduced a little bit, because I had to once again save on weight, so the turret armor is slightly reduced, conning tower is slightly reduced, and the secondaries are slightly reduced. I want to see if I can reproduce the poor German accuracy of the previous time, and see if I was just getting some exceptionally bad RNG. I want to see what happens if I go against the if I go against the Brits again. And beyond that, I want to see what sort of designs the British come up with this time. And also, what sort of battlecruisers I get. So, the Der Grosse ready to go. The heavy cruiser that's with me now is the Victoria Louise. Speed 30 knots, maximum bulkheads. She had 8-inch guns, and she has 9.5 kilometer range, 20-inch torpedoes. Then my battlecruisers. The Ersatz Scharnhorst and the Guben. Top speed 36.5. And they are pretty similar in armament, 14-inch guns, although they're not exactly the same ship. The Ersatz Scharnhorst has 12 14-inch guns, and the Guben also has 12 14-inch guns, but has slightly different secondary armament. Torpedo tubes, short range, bow and stern only, 5 kilometer range, 20-inch. They are fast torpedoes. They travel at 57 knots, but it also makes them a lot more visible. Enemy smoke has been spotted to the west. As with the previous mission, I'm going to try and link up with the other warships. So the Ersatz is currently almost 67 clicks out. I'm going to have the battleship slow down to a crawl and turn slightly towards my battlecruisers. And with that, I hope to get these guys back into range. And in the meanwhile, maybe the Friedrich can do some damage of its own. These super heavy shells have more range. They take longer to reload, but they also do about 40% more damage once they hit. So all of these factors could lead to the Friedrich being a more effective warship than the previous iteration of this ship. Which I was not terribly impressed with. Now, I like that the Victoria Louise is pretending to be a screening ship, but I'd rather have it follow, because that might be a safer position for that ship to be in. Because what I do not want to see is that the Germans lose the Victoria Louise, and the British don't really lose anything early on. Previously, it was the the other ship. I think it was the Baden back then. And the Baden really did a number on those ships. The Baden took a lot of damage, but survived the entire battle. Now we already have eyes on one of the British warships. Once again, a Nelson-ish design. Triple guns, 3 turrets. Some small-ish 3 or 4-inch secondaries. But beyond that, I'm not seeing any secondary guns. Oh, sorry, they are here. Those are probably 2 or 3-inch. Aside from that, no turret on the stern. Now, the British have drawn first blood, as the Friedrich is already gone down 74 points of damage. Hopefully I can return the favor quickly. If I can actually get hits in today. Which would be a pretty nice upgrade. I took another hit for 55. So we're just going to be trading damage a bit at range. Unfortunately, I don't have enough ships to be trading damage. And they might. The British might. Now, if this iteration also... Jesus, another 44 and 61. Could you please not? I need the ship to survive the mission. Increase speed to full. We're going to have to get out of here. I was hoping to trade a bit of damage, but not start losing half the ship. Because I started at 85 and I'm down to 75. Just wait for the other cruisers to join up. If push comes to shove and this doesn't work, I can always decide to still go with a different design that has 18-inch guns. Which could very well make this ship a lot more deadly. But displacement is something that's probably going to be a major concern, because the increased armament, the increased size of the armament might make it harder for me to actually get those guns fitted, which means fewer guns. And on top of that, less secondaries. Not that I'm too interested in getting into secondary range anyway. But it is a possibility that we're going to end up in secondary range eventually. Now the Friedrich was originally doing 30 knots. She's now down to 28.5 as a different design. And I hope that the Germans are going to be keeping up with the Brits. Because previously it was one of the British battleships, I think it was this type of design, that actually ran away. For no real reason. Because it was full health, it still had a decent amount of ammo. And sure enough, I sunk quite a few of its fellow warships. But it had still a perfectly good fighting chance against my ship. We have inflicted our first bit of damage. We're still taking a lot of damage over here. 14-inch shells and 15-inch, so I'm not exactly sure which one's which. But they sure are doing damage. My accuracy is pretty dreadful. I'm still not sure how the Brits are getting this god-awful accuracy, or this, well, this excellent accuracy. I have god-awful accuracy. They keep landing hits after hits after hits, and I just... Well, I keep slinging salvos of 12 shells at a time. But so far, I am, once again, deeply, deeply unimpressed with the accuracy of the German guns. Despite having a good rangefinder, and despite having excellent radar, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't do shit. Look at this. I'm down to 66% structural. Hit, 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 damage to main gun. The hell is going on? I even had my ammo detonate for 293 damage. And in the meanwhile, I have only really inflicted one good penetrating hit, and beyond that, nothing. There we go, 165, that's what I want to see. Unfortunately, I lost line of sight, probably courtesy of the destroyers, which are setting up smoke screens. And making it, well, pretty much impossible for me to do damage here. Just keep heading away. I need my battlecruisers. Once I start bringing in an additional 24 12-inch gun, sorry, 14-inch guns, I hope that my chances are going to increase significantly. There's still 40 clicks out. Increase the flank. Whenever I say increase the flank, I always hear that in Sean Connery's voice from Hunt for Red October. When they're trying to run away from the torpedoes in the valley, I think. Come on, Fried, get out of here. 64%. At least I haven't flooded yet. It's all plunging fire. I still can't see the British battleships. I think the smoke is probably obstructing the ships. They're somewhere here, at around 24 kilometers out. I'm firing with a whole 0.3% chance to hit something. Don't bother. Don't bother. Range, 31 kilometers and closing quickly. I'm also still eager to see what the British destroyers have this time around, because previously they had a range of about 8. This time around they could very well have 22-kilometer range. You never quite know what the Brits get. Or, well, what any other AI ship gets. With a couple of fires set. See, this is what I mean. They keep hitting my ship, even at these kind of ranges. Look at that, another hit. Finally they lost sight of me. But not before they put me on fire again. Range? 24-1. 23-6, 23-5. There we go. I want the battle cruisers to start following my battleship. And then we're going to push back in. I'm going to focus all the firepower of all the ships onto one battleship. These ships fire... what's the propellant? Cordite 1? That's not very good. That's going to cost me penetration on these ships. It will increase the chance that I set fires. Oh, actually no, that was the lyddite shell. That was a different type of ammo. Okay. De Grosse, make a turn to port. Battle cruisers are currently 16 clicks out. I could just attach this to the battleship. Oh, no. We tried that previous, it didn't work. Because what then happens is that the battleship is going to try to fall in behind the cruiser, because the cruiser is currently the most healthy ship of the division. So, no, you're just going to have to follow. Yeah, you can screen, but preferably in a relatively close formation. Unfortunately, I can only set formations as close when the ships are all in the same division. And I cannot do that because, well, as mentioned, they will try and do their own thing. And the battleship is going to try to follow the battle cruisers. Actually, maybe the screening force isn't that bad of an idea. So long as they screen on the port side of the Friedrich, the battle cruisers might be able to draw some of the fire. Can they take that fire, though? They got many bulkheads and about 10.2 inches of armor. And, geez, where's the other one at? Whoa, why are you so slow? You can only do 24.5? Oh, crap. So you're still 24 kilometers out. Well, that's going to be lovely, then. I have sight on the British ships. Hopefully with these big guns and my range I can do some damage before they do damage to me. But they are already firing again. Okay, turn to starboard. Because I'm opening myself up to a lot of attacks like this. And presenting a big profile. At least I was able to inflict some damage over here against the British ship. She's flooding and on fire. Looks like a hit to her stern. Identification's almost complete. 90. There you go. Rudder damaged. Fire. Flooding. That's what I want to see. Now we're getting the damage in. Maintain evasive action. The Victoria Louise. Another good hit. 190. There you go. What can I accurately hit? Not much. Not a 13 clicks out. It is screening against the destroyer, so hopefully she'll intercept anything that gets too close. But the Victoria Louise is also a big target. And that means a big risk. Alright, so we got the London over here. The London is a ship with maximum bulkheads, 14-inch guns, 28.5 knots, 42.6 tons, 42.6 thousand tons of displacement. Structural integrity down to 63%, floatability 82. Let's see what the cruiser's doing. Not much. She's trying to find out what the DDs are doing. DDs have a range of 13.2. That's a risk. That's a big risk. Try to target the thruster if you can. You got a ton of shells. Just go aggressive. Fire as much as possible. Even if the accuracy is dreadful, I don't really care. Just keep throwing out those shells because you got a lot of armament. Maybe strength in numbers will work. Range to the ersatz. Almost here. Actually, no, she is here. What's my range? 29.9. Alright, engage the London. Target locked. Ersatz Scharnhorst is now engaging. It seems like the De Grosse has stopped taking severe damage. Sure enough, she takes damage every now and then. But at least I've also been able to bloody the noses on the British warships a bit. The Yeoman... Oh, the Yeoman has just torped. The real question is who? Who are you torping? The heavy cruiser. Roger that. Alright, Victoria Louise, detached from the group. Oh, sorry, you already were detached. Let's start making this ship unpredictable. There you go! Yeoman is done. I'm not sure whose shot that was. Maybe the battleship? The De Grosse? At least it's one destroyer less. The thruster hasn't sent out torpedoes yet. De Grosse maintain fire on the London. Battle cruisers maintain fire on the London. Alright, one destroyer less to worry about. Circle around and push back in. See if we can get the other destroyer killed. The thruster. Chances to hit? Poor. Oh, but look at that. You don't need much. You got hit by an 8-inch shell. Few bulkheads. It did send out torpedoes. But the Victoria Louise is making all sorts of weird turns. I'm not sure how much this ship was leading my Victoria Louise, so let's turn starboard instead. Because if they're continuing with the torpedo lead on the turn, then turning out might be the better option here. Thruster lost its engines. You could almost say it lost thrust. Or it's losing thrusters. Oh, London, what are you doing? Is the London trying to escape? Are we going to see that again? Ersatz Scharnhorst has also taken a bit of damage. And she seems to now be the primary target of the whole British group. Judging by the amount of firepower that's coming out. I want to start taking down a couple of these bigger ships first. Victoria Louise, back to port. Target the Trojan. Or is the Trojan kidding and putting out smoke? It is, isn't it? It is. Alright, the London might not be retreating. It might just be trying to fall in behind the healthy battleship. I think that that's what's going on. So right now it's not running away just yet. But knowing the AI, they can change their mind at any given moment. Friedrich is getting a bit too far from the fight. 23... I can barely hit the guy. Oh, you're trying to hit a destroyer? No. Try to hit that battleship over there. Same goes for the battle cruisers, question mark. Yeah, we're trying to sink the Penguin. Maximum bulkheads, 6-inch guns. Go for the Trojan. It should be done smoking pretty soon. Ooh, that could have very, very nastily damaged that ship. Where's the Gubbin? Gubbin's still doing 24-5 out of 24. Teach me your secrets. How are you so fast? Big, long-range HE salvo versus the King George V. 14-inch guns, which they're trying to train on the battle cruiser. No torpedoes. Few bulkheads, 26 knots. I say we burn it down. Alright, let's make another turn. There's, as far as I'm concerned, too grave a risk of getting torpedoed. Especially by the Goldfinch, which has just sent out torpedoes against my heavy cruiser. Oh, I also... I sent out my own torpedo. I have some of them. Port, 2 starboard, 2... yeah, 2 port, 2 starboard, 1 bow, 1 stern. Maintain fire on the Trojan. Good hit! Good hit. Look at that thing go. Penguin. Penguin's on fire, it's flooding, and it's lost power. Not all of it, but maybe just enough. Fire set to the King George. Let's see, is the Goldfinch... No, the Goldfinch not torping. The Whip? Whip, I think, already torped. New target, Goldfinch, closest ship. Please do some damage so that we can push back further in with the... Oh, sorry, we can push further in with the Victoria Louise, not push back. Get rid of these things quick. I'm pretty much using the Victoria Louise as one big torpedo kite at this point. Just hoping that she can get torpedoes fired at her. And by continually maneuvering very erratically, just avoiding getting hit altogether. These things still have 22 torpedoes left. They fire out quintuple salvos, that's 5. So they're going to keep doing this. Good work! Penguin just took another big hit. Seems to be severely flooding. And that might be the end of the Penguin. That would take out 1 light cruiser. There she goes. First blood to the Germans. That's 1 ship less. I want to use the battle cruisers now to sink the forward. The Grosse is still pushing in. Let's continue to do that. Victoria Louise is doing some damage over here to the Trojan, which really doesn't have anything on the Victoria Louise beyond torpedoes. And those aren't even doing anything because they're still reloading. So I think that the Victoria Louise and the battle cruisers can pretty quickly mop up this whole group here. And then that leaves the British with the King George V, the London, and the Essex, which is a 9-inch battle cruiser. No, heavy cruiser. Turn to port. Just preventatively throw off any torpedoes that might have been sent. Goldfinch has taken severe damage, the thruster has taken damage, the Trojan... The battle cruisers are still trying to hit the forward. Please tell me the German or the British ships aren't running away. No, they're not. What's your speed? 28.5 tops. 26. Very good. Can I penetrate this ship? 43% chance. Excellent. Time to open up a bit more and try to get more guns to bear. There we go. 102 damage. Fire set. Structural integrity is dropping quick. Goldfinch not torping. Thruster might have torped. Trojan ready to torp soon. And the Whip might have torped. Alright, hard to starboard. Look at how quickly this thing can turn around. It's really impressive. 8-inch cruiser. And so far, I'm really pleased with the performance on this ship. Sure enough, she's taken a lot of damage. Or rather, she's taken a beating. But she seems to be standing up to it so far, relatively well. Let's try to get a bit more range against those destroyers. Trojan just torpedoed. The Whip is ready to torp. Try to finish off the Goldfinch before it gets torpedoes off. And the thruster might also be ready. King George is now taking good amounts of damage. She's flooding. Chance to pen, 42%. Let's also have the battle cruisers add more damage to that ship, since everything else here is smoked up. There we go, another fire set on the Goldfinch. That's what I want to see. King George. Big salvos coming in from the Essex and the London. Can we see the torpedoes yet? Trying to also look deep to see what other things the torpedoes might hit, but so far, nothing. Because the Victoria Louise is... What is that? She's about 8 kilometers away from the rest of the fleet. So right now she shouldn't really be posing any problems as a torpedo magnet. Whereas in the previous time that I tried this encounter, I had the Victoria Louise, or the similar type of cruiser, heavy cruiser, and she got torped. She avoided, but the ship behind her, the Friedrich, got hit. Oh, King George is almost done. I guess more guns do help. Range 14.3. Is the Guben here yet? Well, she's fighting, at least. Taking her sweet time to join the battle. But at least she's fighting. Why do I only have 5 torpedoes? Is this some sort of last-ditch effort? Strange choice of armament. Alright, I think the Victoria Louise hasn't turned in a while. No chance to hit. Why are we even firing? I said go aggressive. Yeah, open fire with all guns at any range. Roger that. Oh, the King George is almost done. Damage to the main tower. The ship seems to have a lot of fires going. And with a few bulkheads, you're going to have big issues putting those things out. All ships, switch to high explosive ammunition. The 8-inch guns are now also engaged at a very, very healthy 39% chance to hit. I'm going to try and burn this thing down because it simply cannot do enough to counter that. The Victoria Louise. Her torpedo range is 9.5. I might be able to torp the battleship. If there is still a battleship left to torp at that point. Why do you continue to close in? See, this is a situation where I would expect the ships to start running away. Having taken this much damage, you're excused from the battle. Now you have a proper excuse to go, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. Chance to pen's going up fast. Switch to AP. Chance to pen for the battle cruisers, not great. 27.7. That's a difference between 15-inch guns and 14-inch guns, and potentially the super heavy shells are also helpful. There we go. Lots of floodings. And fire set to the bow. Don't turn broadside in front of this whole group. You might find that that's not a very wise decision. Some damage. I had expected a bit more from that salvo. It looks like the King George considers the Victoria to be the biggest threat. She's not Italian, she's not Vittoria. Different nationality. Hit, 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 fire, damage, main tower, main gun, flooding, damage. Very good. Fires are being set all over the ship. I'm not sure how the game calculates when to set fires and how to distribute the damage control parties. Because I would imagine that at some point you have, let's say 50 points worth of damage control. Are those 50 points distributed between fires and flooding, or are they just distributed? Or let's say, do the damage between fire and flooding have different damage control parties? So do you have, let's say, one pool of 50 points that you draw from, and that you distribute against putting out fires? Or is it such that flooding has its own 50 points and fire has its own 50 points? And of course based on how many bulkheads you have. For a moment there I thought Essex was coming in for a torpedo run. But she doesn't carry any. Hey, stop running. Oh, not this again. They're doing it again. They're running. Battle cruisers. Break formation and start chasing these fuckers down, because I'm not letting these British escape once again. I said that the King George V would be excused from the battle. I didn't say anything about the other battleship. Friedrich, target Essex. Let's just get that heavy cruiser out of the way so it doesn't threaten the battle cruisers. Guben, break formation. Get over there. Quick. I can do 36.5 with this ship, which should allow me to still catch up to the London. Maybe do some damage, and then also allow the Friedrich to catch up. She can still make about 24 knots. Let's at least start sending her in the right direction. That'd be a start. Torpedo launched. Currently going towards the Essex. If it does not hit the Essex, it might hit the Scharnhorst. So I gotta be careful. Okay, the thruster is down. 1 DD survived the Trojan, and the forward is moving backwards. No, she's retreating. Torpedoes are pretty poorly aimed here. Unfortunately, so that won't hit. That means that the next ship in line, the Scharnhorst, might be the new target. Let's try to avoid that. Because I'm not sure how well your damage control parties are below the waterline. I can see it has many bulkheads, but beyond that I don't know much. Switch to auto selection of ammo. Because I think you can very easily blow the ship out of the water. Torpedoes. Yeah, we're now safe. Dead ahead. I can still make 31 knots. The Airassault Scharnhorst is now my best bet. The Victoria can do 24-2, which is not fast enough to keep up with that ship. Why do they keep running? Why do you have to do that? Because it's making these fights so frustrating. It's making it so hard to catch those British ships. There you go, that's what I want to see. Flooding across the midships, all engines damaged, flooding, fire. I think she's going to be dead in the next 30 seconds. Victoria Louise, having survived everything so far, is trying to put the London on fire further. But I don't think it's going to do much. Not against maximum bulkheads. Speed? 21-1. I might still catch that. I can do 24. You can do 31. Even the Guben might be able to push up and get that. Just sail directly towards that battleship. Straight in. You're not getting away this time. Hopefully I can get a plunging hit and damage either the rudder, the engines, or just cause overall battle damage that will cause the ship to slow down. Flooding would be ideal, because then the ship takes on a ton of water, and with it, make itself so heavy that it's not capable of running away anymore. Lots and lots of shells are coming in. I'm not worried about the Trojan anymore. It doesn't seem interested in continuing this fight. And wherever the light cruiser is, I think somewhere here. So that already parked itself out of the fight. Alright, let's put it to ×5. All I need to do is just keep throwing shells this way. And watch if the Trojan does anything stupid. Or dangerous, rather, with those torpedoes. I'm very, very slowly gaining on this ship. Good damage. Multiple fires. Another fire. .470. That was another 15-inch shell from, yeah, the battleship, of course. This time around, the Friedrich der Grosse is going to win the fight. I still have 2 hours and 31 minutes left on this fight. So there's no way that the ship's going to run away. 19.4 knots. Another good hit. I think we're punching right through the stern. Stern deck extended. Yep. Interestingly, it is still sort of plunging fire, because we're punching through the deck, not the belt. Which of course is better, because the deck armor is usually far, far less powerful than the whole belt armor. Victoria is now 8.6 clicks out. You still pursuing? More or less. Continue to chase. The Gubbin is still firing. Scharnhorst. The Grosse needs to correct course. Speed? Not full speed, but 31. She used to make 36, but then she got damaged. 19.4, come on. Get a flooding hit. If I can have some shells tumble through the deck and then eventually end up down in the lower part of the ship, I might cause a flooding. And with it, eventually get this thing to slow down. My shells, I still have 690 shells here. 1200 on the Scharnhorst. 1400, nearly 1500 on the Victoria. And the Gubbin still has 466. She's still doing 19.4. It's just fire mostly. A couple of things that put her on fire. Finally, the German accuracy is actually back on point, because previously I just got really, really frustrated with the amount of shells that I put out and the amount of misses that I got. Fortunately, this time around we're actually doing a hell of a lot better. And I don't really know what that is down to. Maybe the super heavy shells? But I believe that the super heavy shells don't really give you an aim bonus. They give you a damage bonus, they give you a bit more range. Of course, they take longer to reload. But I don't really think that they give you an accuracy boost. Alright, I paused the recording for a couple of minutes to just get my ships closer and to just allow the ships to do a bit more damage to the London. The London is still running away, but it seems like she's starting to slow down. She's taking severe damage. I'm actually surprised that her superstructure is not destroyed yet. With all the damage that she's taken so far, you more or less reliably expect it to. The Scharnhorst is now very, very close to this ship, dealing damage at just 3.8 kilometers away. And it just sent out its last torpedo, so I don't have to rely on torpedo damage. I'm just going to have to get very, very close. London is still trying to get away. What I'm actually surprised with is that the secondaries aren't firing. She has these 5-inch. From those I get it, they won't fire. The 4-inch can't get there. But what's the excuse of the 3-inch? They have 12,000 rounds of ammunition. There's no reason to save ammo. And I almost get the idea that the AI has been set to conserve ammo on this mission. But it's still merrily firing away with the 2-inch guns. See, there finally the 3-inch guns kick in, once they got 15% accuracy. Not that they're bound to do a lot of damage against the Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst has the armor to sustain hits from 2 and 3-inch guns. So I'm not concerned. I just hope that I can get alongside and get some really good flooding hits. There you go, damage to the main tower. Still no destruction. Beyond the 2 turrets. 2 of the 3 turrets have been destroyed on the ship, so good luck with those 14-inch guns. If the ship wants to go down fighting, it's going to have to swing out pretty far. And beyond that, it really doesn't have a whole lot of hope to do more damage to me. So she should just give up. But this one has a stern upper lip and is just refusing to give up. Friedrich der Grosse is still trying to keep the distance at 24 knots. London at 1890. 18.9 is not making it easy. Oh, I should have saved some torpedoes. The Victoria Louise still has torpedoes, but I don't wish to fire those just yet. The ship is still faster at 24 versus that 18.9. She's been doing 18.9 clicks, or 18.9 knots a long, long time. Look at this. Just pulling alongside at 1.8 kilometer range. So far I've just been using the bow guns, those bow 14-inch. So I'm going to get the stern guns a chance to get some action. I'm going to give the British credits for how well they have designed this ship. Because I keep peppering the stern, and most of it either bounces off or is just utterly ineffective. There we go. Fire damage set. 25% left. Chance to pen, about 30%. Let's send some big HE shells that way. Maybe I can overwhelm it with fires. Despite having maximum bulkheads, if I'm firing 5-inch, 2-inch and 14-inch at it, I might set enough fires. She's slowing down to 18.3 now. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fires, I think. And flooding. That should significantly slow her down. She is getting some of the fires under control. The midships have stopped burning. The secondary tower seems to be completely destroyed. Another couple of good hits. Nice fires. I'm hoping that the Victoria Louise, with her torpedo launchers, can still get into range of this ship and finish it off. But with a damaged rudder, it might not be the most predictable target. Range 3.5. I have good speed, but I'd rather pull alongside and then send the torpedoes into her. I have 2 ports, 2 starboard and the bow. Let's see if I can get the bow torpedo on target. Only fire it when you see that you have a relatively good chance to hit. Look at that. All of the stern's on fire. It feels like we're a pack of hyenas just taking away the ship one bite at a time. More flooding. She's down to 8%. Victoria Louise, come hard to starboard. 8%. 5%. I think that due to the slowdown, the torpedo is not gonna hit that ship. Because the ship suddenly got a lot heavier and is not really cruising at the same speed anymore. Although this is gonna get very close. No, it might hit right on the nose. Which is painful for that ship, because that's where it wasn't flooding / flooded yet. Torpedo at will. There she goes. London sinks. And with that, mission completion has been achieved. The Germans reign supreme. Despite having taken a good beating from the British early on, they were able to succeed. In case you want to copy the ship design or use it as an inspiration on how not to do it, triple 15-inch guns, secondary 8-inch guns, dual. Beyond that, high TNT, super heavy shells, electro, autoloaders, Gen 2 radar, stereoscopic rangefinder. Defense, not great. Heavy barbettes, anti-torp 2, double hull, Citadel 4, anti-flood 2, and reinforced bulkheads 2. Bulkheads maximum, 28.5 and 56,000 tons. I don't know why they allow you to go all the way up to that, what was it? 90? No, 82,000? Because once you have this, I don't really see how you're still going to add a lot of stuff to it. But let me know what you come up with in the comments down below. Anyway, with that, Friedrich der Grosse has won, and the video has come to an end. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall catch you guys soon in another video.